All right, great to be here on Tuesday, opening up SEC play. Sorry, I guess I'm right on time, but was outside promoting our boat fish football game coming up on Saturday. So there'll be a ton of boats in Gamecock Park before the game, all boats that are made here in South Carolina as well, boats that you can buy on Saturday as well. So always a fun weekend when that takes place. And like I said, that'll be in Gamecock Park. So I was out there visiting with those people. Still haven't been able to talk my wife into letting us buy a boat. She determined that a new rug in the living room was more important than a boat this year. And when I come home at night and there's piles of Amazon boxes for things that have been ordered that I did not order on my front porch. That's why we don't have a boat yet, but maybe one day. But I do appreciate those people being out here as well. I love you, babe. You know, I'm kind of joking as well. Looking back at last week, I know I said it already, but want to say it again. Just thanks to our fans. Looking back, I mean, what an amazing environment on Saturday night against South Carolina State. To sit through that weather delay. The student section, the cockpit was unreal. Didn't see those videos right after the game of how they spent the weather delay down there in the student section. That was awesome. So thanks to them and all the other fans that were there throughout to come out of the locker room for pregame warm-ups to a packed stadium was awesome. And I know our players really, really, really appreciated it on Saturday night. And we'll need them again this Saturday as well. I got a really good Vanderbilt team coming in here, certainly the best Vanderbilt team that we've played in my time as the head coach. They're improved from last year, brought back 8 starters on defense. They've been in this system now for a while. They've got really good players on defense. Obviously, Pavia at quarterback makes them go. He brought back all of his top weapons. They went out in the portal and got a couple of receivers that have added an element to their offense. They seem to be more explosive in the passing game than they were last year. And 3 new offensive linemen that have come in from the other schools as well. So they've made their team better. They were already a good team that has added to it and has gotten better since last year, coming off a great win at Virginia Tech on Saturday night. They're really good on special teams. They always are year in, year out. They've got multiple dangerous returners. They've got a guy that returned a kickoff for a touchdown last year against Tennessee to open the game. They were about one game-saving tackle or touchdown-saving tackle away against us from last year. Last year, returning a kickoff that we made a tackle on, or that one about popped out of there. So we've got a big challenge from a special team standpoint, and ton of respect for Clark Lee and the job that he's done there. They're tough, they're physical, they're well coached. It's evident when you watch tape with the challenge that they will be. But our guys are excited. They were in a hostile environment, meaning Vanderbilt, last Saturday night in Blacksburg, Virginia, against Virginia Tech, and they handled it well. But I need to challenge our fans to make sure that Williams-Brice on Saturday night is even more hostile than what they faced in Blacksburg last Saturday night. We need them as well, but should be a beautiful night for football. Primetime SEC Network game, so looking forward to having those guys here, and will be a fun night in Columbia, and looking forward to competing against a really good Vanderbilt team as well. So there's one. On the injury front, we're trending in the right direction. Obviously, it's an SEC game, so we'll have to release an injury update as the week goes, and we'll do that then. So I'm not going to talk about injuries today other than just to say we're trending in the right direction, and we'll release the report like we do every week for SEC games when the time comes. Questions? Oh, wow. Is that why he wasn't here last weekend? I thought he skipped out and didn't wait for the weather delay to finish. Where was the concert?
Pasadena.
Wow. Rose Bowl? Holy smokes.
Loyalty, all that kind of.
Wow. Okay.
Shane, after breaking down the first 2 games, specifically with the run game, is there one glaring issue that says that's the reason why that the run game hadn't really been able to get on track?
I wouldn't say there's one glaring issue. I think it's a host of things, David. We don't seek comfort around here by making excuses, but Virginia Tech game, it's a good defense, and that's a tough preparation because you didn't quite know what to expect. South Carolina State, we're starting a true freshman. We had bad field position. So those are things that I don't want completely just push aside and say that they weren't a factor, because those are factors. Having said that, we have to overcome that. And I wouldn't say there's one glaring thing. We've been close. We haven't been consistent enough. Yeah, sometimes it's different positions. It may be a guy getting beat, which is going to happen at times. And, this week, hopefully we'll start the same 5 on the offensive line health-wise, and we weren't able to do that from week 1 to week 2, but confident that we'll be better this week. And today in practice, we got off to a great start. Did you do anything else in California, or just went all the way out there for that? Really? One of the coolest things about the Rose Bowl, and I've been there twice for the Rose Bowl, and then when I was at Oklahoma, we played UCLA in there, but in the locker room, they have pictures all around the locker room of all the concerts that have come through there, and you start thinking about all the people that have performed in the Rose Bowl. You're like, holy smokes, as well. So that's pretty cool right there as well.
Something that you say a lot to describe your own players is, when the lights come on, they meet the moment. Pavia is one of those people. What goes into stopping him, especially someone who kind of eats big moments for breakfast?
Yeah, he's a stud. You watch his tape. I mean, I've got so much respect for him. I got a chance to visit with him a little bit in Atlanta at SEC Media Day, because we were there at the same time, and enjoyed visiting with him and enjoy watching him play. He's such a competitor, and I mean, there's plays from the Virginia Tech game. He does it all. Lulu is probably the biggest thing. He loves the moment. He loves competing. I mean, he's got to play against Virginia Tech where he's sitting in the pocket on 3rd down and delivering a throw down the field. He's got to play against Virginia Tech where he's got one-on-one coverage on the outside and he throws it up and he hits the receiver in stride on a deep ball for a touchdown. He's got to play against Virginia Tech where he scrambles and rolls to the right and then comes all the way back across to the far sideline and hits his running back out in the flat on a scramble situation. He's got to play against Virginia Tech where he runs a quarterback draw for 20 yards. He's got to play against Virginia Tech where he runs the option and he pitches the ball to his option guy, and then he's the lead blocker and he goes downfield and he tries to block the defensive back. I mean, he's fun to watch, and I've got a ton of respect for him. It's going to take all 11 on defense to control him on Saturday night. All of us flying to the ball. Starts up front, but we've got to do a great job on the perimeter without a doubt. And then our offense, for sure. I mean, we've got to stay on the field. I mean, Virginia Tech had 6 plays in the 3rd quarter the other night. 6. They went 3 and out, and then they didn't see the ball again until the 4th quarter. That's how they want to play football. So in order to, control Pavia, we've got to do our part on offense too to make sure that we're staying on the field and sustaining drives.
Hey, Coach. Jalen Tart, 107.5 The Game. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you. What has been the message to your team from Monday going into the week starting SEC play?
Monday meaning yesterday? Yeah. Not much. I mean, Monday's our off day, so we come in on Sundays. We play on Saturday. We had a quick turnaround Sunday, so we were back in here for meetings and practice on Sunday. And the message then was we need to be better all 3 phases. I mean, win or lose, we come in here on Sundays and we watch 10 to 15 plays of the night before and show the good and the bad. And there's good and bad in every win and loss. And there was plenty of good Saturday night and there was plenty of not so good Saturday night. So we watched that, and I would hope that I didn't have to make it clear. I think they already knew that Saturday night wasn't up to our standard, whether it be offensively or whether it be how we finished the game in some ways on defense. And then we went out Sunday night. I thought we had a great practice, and our guys knew that it was time for us to, take another step and get better this week, because we've got a big challenge coming in here on Saturday night. And I told them after the game in the locker room Saturday night, I knew the result of the Virginia Tech game because it was freaking 1:00 in the morning or whatever it was here. And I told them that, that we're playing we open up SEC play and we got a team rolling in here that just ran off, I think, 34 straight points against Virginia Tech and rushed for 260 something yards against them to get their attention pretty quick, that they needed to go home. They needed to go to bed. They needed to get their rest, and let's get back in here on Sunday and get ready to work. And that's what we've done. Big win for your Bills, Jack.
I was going nuts, Shane. You should have seen it. It's crazy. On communication and the offensive line, Boaz, Case, and they were in here earlier just kind of talking about how it was tough to hear some of the calls on Saturday. Now, obviously, that wasn't the most packed out Williams-Brice Stadium as what it could be on Saturday. Does that worry you at all that when Saturday and when you guys go like LSU, all these hostile environments, that it may be tougher for these guys to hear the calls? And how do you kind of address that? I know you guys are doing it in practice, but how do you fix that moving forward?
Yeah, no, it's concerning. You're right. We're going to be in a lot more louder environments for our offense when we're on the field than what we were on Saturday night. So, yeah, it's certainly, concerning. It's not necessarily overblown. I talked about it, it's a little overblown in my opinion. There was one play that two words that sounded similar that, to me, there's not a reason to get them mixed up, but we got them mixed up. So certainly I think it starts with just everyone being louder, Lenoris talking louder, Boaz talking louder as the center, making calls, and then us as coaches looking at, okay, if there's things that could be confusing, which I don't think there are. I mean, every offense in America has a lot of terminology and words that may sound alike, but we've certainly got to look at it and make sure that we're operating efficiently as an offense and defense too, from a communication standpoint, because we got the same thing. We got a lot of words on defense that maybe sound the same, and it sure as heck's going to be loud, and we don't need one guy to think he's doing one thing and another guy doing another. But it's the same calls we've had for multiple years now that I've been the head coach, and don't think it's an issue, but certainly we don't want to bury our head in the sand and look the other way either.
Hey, Shane, what's your message to the guys who are going to be going through the SEC wars for the first time? And as you get ready to kick off SEC play, does the intensity level go up automatically? And what role do the veterans have as far as getting everyone in line, and what does that do to how they react on the practice field and meeting rooms and in conversation amongst themselves?
Yeah, message is that it ramps up another level this week, that the non-conference games are over, and the SEC is it's a different animal. It is. The teams in this league, I think you can look at our record across the country in non-conference games this year, and I know it's the best of any conference out there, and you look at what this conference has done already against other conferences as far as the matchups with other leagues. It's a bear, and making sure our guys understand that it's a long season. You got to take care of your bodies. You freshmen that just got here that had a 10-game regular season in high school, and you might be done by Halloween. We're just getting started, and we start up this week, but we got 7 more SEC games after this one. And then I don't have to say a whole lot, Rick. Our guys know, our leaders have made it very clear that at SEC play, and there's just a different feel and a different intensity. It is. I mean, it's just, I hate to, you want to say you treat them all the same, and you do, but everybody knows when it's an SEC game. And when you're playing a really talented SEC team that we know what they did last season, even after we beat them, they went to LSU, I think, the next week, and that was a dogfight down in Baton Rouge. They're tied up with Tennessee at halftime, the last game of the regular season. The bowl game, they won in pretty solid fashion against Georgia Tech for sure. So we know we've got a big challenge, and certainly they understand that based on the way our team meeting was this morning at 8 a.m. Just the energy in there just felt different. Being on the practice field today, it felt different. And as a coach, you wish it didn't. You wish every Tuesday was the same. But certainly the level of intensity ramps up when conference play starts.
Saw late last week that Travian Robertson is back home, but what's the latest you can share with him and his potential return back to the team? And then also with that, with Jordan Dove, how have you seen things going there with him?
Yeah, it was good to get Travian home. I know his family was excited to have him home. I know he was excited to get out of the hospital. He's been able to Zoom into some meetings. We always, Jody Camillus has a very entertaining, I guess is the word, Friday night meetings at the hotel before games, and he wanted to be a part of that, so he zooms in on Friday night, so he's a part of that meeting, and the players are able to say hello to him. I was texting with him yesterday and talked to Clayton. He was able to zoom in and be a part of the defensive staff meetings yesterday when our staff was putting together the initial game plan. So he's involved from that standpoint and getting closer to when he physically can, return. I know he's eager to get back at it, and we were all excited to see him go home at the end of last week without a doubt. And then I think Dove's done a great job. He, like I said, he's got experience. He's been around the program for a while. He's been involved with those defensive tackles for a while. He's doing a nice job. And then, as I mentioned before, Jamil Walker's in there and has really lended a helping hand and has helped that, along with all the coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball.
How have you, I think last year we had a lot of the same conversations about the offense isn't getting off to the start, but what happened after that, Ole Miss game into Alabama and Oklahoma last year that you guys can kind of maybe take in this year?
I think every year's different. When I look at last year, it was the amount of football that Lenoris played. He played against Old Dominion. That was his first start ever. He didn't play the whole game against Kentucky. He didn't play the whole game against LSU. He didn't play it all against Akron. And then the first time he played a game was Ole Miss, and none of us were good enough that day, starting with me. But then we went to Tuscaloosa the next week, and you saw we had an opportunity to win that game at the end, and we just continued to get better. So last year, I think the biggest thing was just his experience as a quarterback and playing some pretty dang good teams early in the season. But it would be too easy, Jordan, to sit there and say, well, last year we say we started off slow. We hung, I think we scored 30-plus points against Kentucky in Game 2, and then we were rolling pretty good offensively against LSU in Game 3. But certainly he got better and got experience as the year went, and confident that our offense will do the same as well. And again, it's early. I mean, the clock is ticking, don't get me wrong, but we're not as far off as people may think either. And played a lot of new players in Game 1. Started a guy that was playing his first college game ever the other night in Game 2. And, it hasn't been perfect. It needs to be better. There's no question about it. But our guys had a really good day today, and we need to just continue to just keep our head down and work and improve. And when it clicks, it's really going to be good.
Probably going to get tired of talking about your offense, but sticking with that.
I am.
Sticking with that theme, what is it? Because you don't seem to be too concerned. You're like, we're going to get it together. When the struggles do happen through the first 2 weeks, what is the process like during the week with Lenoris and offense? Is it getting back to the basics, or what's that process like so that they can be the well-oiled machine that you believe they can be?
Yeah, it's just going back to work. I mean, every game, it's you learn from it. There's good, there's bad. There's things we need to correct. There's things that we need to coach better. There's things that schematically probably weren't great ideas in that game, whatever it may be. You always look at the previous game and then how we can improve and be better. And it's no different. There's whatever y'all are feeling right now and whatever the narrative is on the outside, it's not that in here, guys. Our guys are confident and know how close we are, and it hasn't been good enough. I'm not saying that at all, and we have to coach better. We have to play better, not just the offensive line, the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line, the quarterback, everyone. We all have to play better, starting with me. But, it's offensive football. And 10 guys can do everything right, and one guy can be a little bit off, and it's a 2-yard gain. Every article or TV hit that y'all do, it ain't going to be perfect, and there's going to be mistakes that are made. And our guys have made some mistakes, and that's why we coach, is to correct it and get better and keep improving. And we know we need to be a lot better this week, because this is certainly the best defense we've played all season. And if we're inconsistent and we're getting beat more often than not, it's going to be a long night. But at the same time, we also know we're close, and we finished fourth in the SEC in rushing last year. And everybody, it'd be easy to say, well, you had Rocket Sanders. Okay, well, we got Rasul Faison and Oscar Attaway, and Jawarren Howe and Bradley Dunn and Isaiah Augustave and Matthew Fuller and whoever else as well. And we bring back the quarterback, and we got a lot of new faces, and they're young, and they're going to continue to get better, and we're working really, really hard to be better than what we were as well. But I think sometimes people forget maybe what we did in 2024 running the football, and we're not that far off from doing that again this year too.
You alluded earlier to this being the best Vanderbilt team you've coached against, and last year was a pretty transformative year for them. But when you watch them on tape, what's something that stands out that they probably do better this year in the first 2 games than they did last season?
Explosive passes and with their offense. I think there's more, and I don't know what their philosophy was last year, but it seems like they're even more aggressive at throwing the ball down the field and being willing to take shots, where if Pavia lines up and he sees one-on-one coverage on the outside, he's throwing it. And those receivers have the ability to go get it. And then you look at the tight end, Stowers, number 9. I mean, he's a weapon, and certainly a guy that we need to be aware of. But that's what I would say. They're a year older. They look even more confident than what they did last season, and they should. They all played a lot of football last season and won a lot of games. But that's the biggest thing that jumps out to me is just the ability to make big plays in the passing game on the outside. And they had good receivers, don't get me wrong, but this year they're a year older. They've added a couple guys to it, and they seem even more willing to take those shots down the field.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned a lot before this season about the depth you have on this team and compared to years past. With the amount of injuries that have ramped up in the first 2 weeks, what are you telling those guys before they go out there, and how has that depth helped?
At which position? Anywhere? How's the depth helped overall?
How's the depth helped overall, and what are you telling those guys when they have to go out there and quick change?
Yeah, the depth has certainly helped. I think you're seeing it on special teams when you're able to play a lot of people, starters that are on special teams like DQ Smith, but, guys that aren't starters that are playing on special teams because, you've got depth. We've got good young players as well. And when I look at it, we all just talk about, being ready when your number's called, and everybody's got a job to do, whether it's you're the starting right guard on the kickoff return team or you're the starting right guard on the offensive line. You've got a job to do, and then everyone has a backup, and everybody needs to be ready. And it goes back, I think, just to the way we practice as well. I mean, we do a lot of good on good and a lot of trying to just develop our younger players throughout the season as well, so you can get them ready. When we do, kickoff versus kickoff return, there may be a scout team kickoff, but they're guys that we're trying to get ready to play on Saturday, or they might already be playing on Saturdays, and they're getting better that way. And when they get in the games on Saturdays, it's they've been there in the sense that they've been working in practice for those moments.
Kind of sticking with special teams, obviously a lot of good has come from special teams in the first 2 weeks. What has been clicking from an execution standpoint with special teams, but also as you're going into SEC play, what do you feel like you need to fine tune?
Certainly our return game's been clicking. Vicari's back there with a lot of confidence right now, but I've been pleased overall. We've punted the ball well. I thought Mason, I didn't mention that the other night, but Mason did a really good job of, flipping field position when we were backed up and we didn't get a first down offense and we had to punt. He did a nice job of punting and flipping field position. William, that was a great kick that he made before the half on the 2-minute drive to get points before the half. Our kickoff return team with Nick back there, I feel like has been good. Disappointing penalty that we had the other night. So I like where we are right now, but at the same time, we know the challenge really steps up this week. These guys are good on special teams. They always have been. They've got dangerous returners. They're aggressive with what they do from coverage units, whether it be fake punts in their past or fake field goals, and they know what they're doing. And they put a lot of pressure on the opponent with their schemes and you being able to adjust to what they're doing, but then still try and stay aggressive. So we've got a big challenge this week, but that's life in the SEC, and our guys are excited about it.
You mentioned Pavia being willing to throw it up in those one-on-one situations, and I'm sure they saw that in the Virginia Tech tape from y'all's game. Is there anything you guys can do beyond just one-on-ones and get on good, like you said, or is it just kind of
Play the ball better. You know, it'd be one thing if Hale, if, you know, we had receivers running 5 yards past our defensive backs and we were just beat, then I'd really be concerned. Then I'd be going in there to Clayton talking about we need to call some different coverages where we don't put our defensive backs in those positions. But just like on the offensive line, sometimes guys are going to get beat. And it happened against Virginia Tech more than we wanted, for sure. But when you play one-on-one a lot like we do, man coverage, you're going to have those competitive catches, 50-50 balls. So in a lot of those instances, and even the one that the touchdown pass the other night that South Carolina State had, I mean, we're in position. We just got to do a better job of playing the ball when it's in the air and playing the technique that we teach when you're in phase with the receiver and you've got a chance to play the ball, just playing it with the proper techniques. We've obviously got to coach that better, and we will. And then there's certainly things. I mean, when you're down Brandon Cisse and Judge Collier the other night, we want to be able to, I don't want to say give those DBs an opportunity to breathe, but to breathe sometimes where it's not always going to be press man up in your face man coverage. We can mix up the coverages, which I thought Clayton did a good job of the other night as well, mixing in the coverages a little bit where they're not always, you know, playing man coverage. But it's, you know, why you come here, and it's how we play football around here, is tough and aggressive on defense. Jackson.
Yes.
Good to see you, Jackson.
Sorry. So obviously South Carolina has a long-standing streak against Vanderbilt. I'm sure everybody knows. Is that something that's in the back of everyone's mind in the facility, or is it more of like a we don't talk about the streak type of thing?
I don't know if anybody knows. I don't talk about it. Don't think about it. I didn't bring it up with the team. I don't know if they know. It's this year has nothing to do with those previous years. I haven't been around here for every year that we've played Vanderbilt, but I'd be hard-pressed to believe there's a better Vanderbilt team that we've played during that streak than the one we're getting ready to play on Saturday night. They're good guys. They're really good. They're going to be a handle for a challenge for a lot of teams this year.
Coach, obviously with Vicari and the punt return team, I know there was the challenge to score in 3 straight games. Would you be surprised, though, if Vanderbilt just was aiming not to punt to him, and how do you think they are going to handle him returning?
Knowing what I know about Clark Lee and the way they play football, they're excited for the challenge, excited for the opportunity. They'll do a great job in protection and kick the ball to Vicari and say, we're going to go down there and let's see, you know, how good you guys are. That's just their mentality. That's how they play football. It's evident on tape. And I don't know, again, what their strategy is. Certainly when you've got a guy that, as a coach, when you're playing an opponent that's returned, you know, 3 punts for touchdowns in 2 games, you've got to be smart about what you're doing. But they've got good specialists, good snappers, good punters, good coverage units, and I know they're excited about the challenge, and we are too, having to go face their returners as well, who are really dynamic and dangerous back there also.
Everyone kind of just looks at Dylan on that defensive front, but already 11 tackles for loss through 2 games. What has impressed you about, you know, everyone else in that group and making sure they're getting to the quarterback?
They've all just elevated their games, and they knew. Obviously, Dylan's coming back. We lost Kyle Kennard, and there's a great opportunity for the other guys. We've got good players, and they've been around our program for a while. Brian Thomas, JT Gear, Desmond, those guys are doing a nice job. Demon Clowney came in and did some nice things the other night. So got good players that have elevated their games, and then I think that Clayton and our defensive staff have done a really good job of designing things, knowing that teams are going to start every week game planning, how do we not let number 6 wreck our offense, and staying ahead of the curve and not letting teams do that. There's going to be times where they take Dylan away. Yes, well, there's now an opportunity for 10 other guys to go make their impact on the game. And then you guys have watched us closely. We've moved Dylan around. He's been in different places. He's not always in the same spot, so we can continue to put him in situations where teams have to adjust to where he is and what we're doing.
That was my thing. What has been the message to your defense to remain consistent in their performance throughout the season so far?
Yeah, just keep getting better. Every week's different. It's a good start, but that's what it is. It's a start. There's a lot that we need to be better at on defense for sure. And our guys know it. It's a good start. Young guys have played and have continued to get better each week, and they'll need to continue to do that for sure. But like the start, but again, it's just a start, and we know we've got the biggest challenge defensively that we have faced this season rolling in here on Saturday night. 2 weeks in a row we're missing Phil. I see, huh? I did see he was catching strays at Clemson today from my counterpart in the upstate also, but hopefully we'll get him back soon. Y'all have a good weekend.